And we're back. All right, so let's take a look at learning card number 9. I'm going to make a list of these, as I said, and put an index out so that way you can double check things. But anyway, originally I had set up, so this is the learning card for grouping 0 exponents, or 0 and negative exponents. Anyway, I was originally just going to do this on 0 and negatives. But the grouping one we hadn't done much of, and so I wanted to make sure you guys had a good example of that in your cards for future years as well. So anyway, so when you have a group of exponents raised to a power, each part inside is raised to that power. And this is one where definitely writing out the work is going to be more beneficial than trying to be a hero and do it all at one time. So I would write this out. So the 2 gets a third to go just to the third power. X squared gets raised to the third power. Y to the 4th gets raised to the third power. Just like, Oprah's Christmas specials, where everybody gets a car. Everybody here gets an exponent. So this becomes 8. And again, the danger here is that sometimes people are like, they're so used to, like, here, since we have powers to powers, and we're going to multiply these. And you're going to be like, oh, that's x to the 6th, and that's y to the 12th. Sometimes it's really easy just to start getting in, and you accidentally put a 6 down in the front. But you're like, 2 to the 3rd. Oh, that's... No. So just be very, very careful. All right? So there you've got a good example. But again, if you write it out, it makes life much easier. Over here in the middle, 0 is an exponent. All I have here for you is a big 1. And why is that? If I have 3 to the 0 power, or if I have, c to the 0 power, or let's say maybe even if I have, let's get crazy here, 5x squared y to the 3rd. Let's make it over z, all of that to the 0 power. Remember, what ends up happening, and we talked about this in class, if you follow the pattern of what's going on, you basically get everything divides out. Everybody, going back to the example from before, it's like everybody in your social group gets a girlfriend, so everybody's paired off. And so what ends up happening here is anything to the 0 power equals 1. Actually, let's put the word is always here. Anything to the 0 power is always 1. Hey. So this is equal, so 3 to the 0 power equals 1. C to the 0 power equals 1. This big mess here equals 1. Mr. Hayes to the 0 power equals 1. It does not matter. And then over here for negative exponents, let's go ahead and change the color again. Okay, remember x to the opposite of a power is the reciprocal of a, x to the a power. So the reciprocal, so that means that x to the opposite of a is equal to, what's the reciprocal of this? Remember, technically that's over 1, so the reciprocal of that would be this. So if I have d to the negative 5th, that's really 1 over d to the 5th power. Likewise, let's block this off, do a different one. If I had 1 over c to the negative 2nd power, the reciprocal of that, you change the sign and then it's the reciprocal of that. Now, again, much like the last slide, I have to give a shout out to Sarah Carter over in Oklahoma, math blogger. And she had this on one of her cards, which I thought was a neat mnemonic. Well, it's not really mnemonic, a good way to remember it. So the memory tricker is if you cross the line, or you may cross the line and change the sign, and then of the exponent. And again, the idea here is that's not, again, that's the way to help remember what the shortcut is. It's not actually what's going on. We've talked about what's going on. But it's a, you know, you want to be fluent in this. You want to be able to move at a good speed when you're doing math. And so because of that, you know, you need to kind of adapt. You need to understand what's going on, but you also need to adapt and find faster ways of doing things. And so here, you're going to look for whatever exponents that are negative because we want to write this in positive exponents. So these two parts here are going to be the parts that move. The other ones just stay, okay? Y to the fourth, oops, that looks like an X. Sorry. So you get y to the fourth, still kind of looks like an X. My goodness. That's better. So that's going to stay. The 5's going to stay. But again, remember, what ends up happening is that this is going to move down. And when that moves down, the sign changes. Because when you cross the line, you change the sign. So you're going to get x to the third. Likewise, when this one moves up across the fraction bar, it's going to turn into a positive there. And again, remember, it would also technically work with negatives too. So, you know, if you had it positive and you needed to move it up, it turned into a negative as well. But anyway, so that's the first two exponential cards. Right? Actually, that's the second exponential card that we're doing in this unit. So obviously, you guys need to get to class since we only have 2 minutes left. But anyway, take a look at those. Hopefully that will help. And if you have questions, concerns, smart remarks, obviously you can always email me or stop in at lunch or before school. See you in class.